Welcome back to Access Anime. My name is Henshin Ikeda, and I'll be doing a walkthrough review of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Episode 15. Now, if you remember from last episode, we're actually in Rome finally with JoJo, and I thought this was kind of funny because we're introduced to a new character right off the bat that's acting like a Casanova with the ladies. His name is Zeppeli. Caesar Zeppeli, the grandson of the original Zeppeli from, like the first part. I'm like, holy crap, Zeppeli has returned. But, the grandson, not the actual Zeppeli, just putting that out there. And yeah, JoJo does not like him, and eventually they get into a little fight, and we get to see Zeppeli's new technique. He's got a technique we actually get to see. It's called the Energy Bubble Launcher. I liked where it was going, but JoJo, he was playing around with the pigeons, and eventually he does, per se, defeat Zeppeli, kind of. But, Speedwagon interjects and says, you guys got to work together, you're partners. And, Zeppeli's taking his role as a mystic pretty seriously because, he's all family-oriented and whatnot. Well, not so much as family-oriented, but, his family, like, he honors what his grandfather did, and JoJo should feel the same way. You should honor what your grandfather did. But JoJo just found out about his grandfather not that long ago, so he feels that JoJo's probably taking this kind of crap for granted. Now, I should also point out Zeppeli actually works with the Germans, because they have the Pillar Men. That's the only real reason. Other than that, he's friends with one of the soldiers. His name is Mark. We find out later on that the Germans, I'm pushing Mark aside for now, there's a reason. Now, we find out apparently the Germans have 3 different Pillar Men underneath their control with their UAV lights, which put them into the stone form, and they're watching over them until Zeppeli and JoJo can get there. Now, I should also point out, these Pillar Men, they eventually kill all the soldiers and are about to leave, and eventually, Zeppeli and JoJo arrive with Mark and Speedwagon, and apparently it looks like Wham, which is a subordinate of the other 2 Pillar Men, he is a Pillar Man in general, kills Mark, and it has a dramatic effect for Zeppeli. This is why I saved Mark's death until the end. Now, he's dead, and eventually we see Zeppeli, put him to sleep, just so we can take out Wham. Now, we're introduced to these other 2 Pillar Men. Their name are Cars and AC/DC, and interesting names is all I can say. So we end this episode with Zeppeli about to attack Wham, at least one of the 3 Pillar Men, in retaliation because of, well, the death of Mark. I should also point out AC/DC, along with Cars, is trying to tell, it looks like, Wham to eventually, after you're done with these guys and whatnot, to go look for one of the red stones of Asia. I think there's only one stone, and again, it's called the red stone of Asia. Apparently it has some significance. And that's where the episode ends. And I'll hold my final thoughts and rating at the end of the clip, so stay tuned. But let's dive right on in. So we open up this episode exactly where we left off. Zeppeli versus Wham. I like where it was going. Now we do see, Zeppeli actually using his bubble launcher, which I love seeing. But it fails. Yeah, no dramatic effect, it fails. So we're taking to a different scene with Wham, and he actually, this is kind of what everyone else starts to notice, that Wham actually understands the art of mystic doctrine, because apparently these Pillar Men have dealt with the mystics 2,000 years ago, so they're aware of these mystics with powers, the ripple energy, so they're not going to be tricked. So that's kind of interesting. I was hoping for more of a fight, but no. So we are taking to a different scene with Zeppeli, and he's being cut in, not cut in half, but cut on the face. And Speedwagon is actually seeing this. I'm surprised Speedwagon instead of JoJo was able to notice this, but Speedwagon actually says Wham is creating waves of miniature whirlwind projectiles. This is why you're getting cut, Zeppeli. I'm like, really? Speedwagon, you can't even use ripple energy and you're able to notice this? What does that say about Zeppeli? Or JoJo right now? That they're scared, or they're just not paying attention, or maybe a third option. So we are taking to a different scene with one of the Pillar Men, or should I say all of the Pillar Men, and they're actually making fun of Zeppeli. Because they're mocking him. It's like, you know what? These past mystics have said the same thing. You're taking vengeance because one of your fallen comrades have died at our hands and whatnot. I'm like, they're just messing with him because he's a mystic that, well, failed. Nothing special there, but it kind of pisses me off to see that. And what I thought was even weirder, each one of the Pillar Men, well, at least Cars and AC/DC, they're about to leave so they can find the red stone of Asia. And they turn their backs and they're ready to leave, and then Zeppeli, he actually attacks one more time. I don't know why, but he was stopped by Wham. Now I thought this was also kind of unique. Wham doesn't kill Zeppeli. Instead, he's like, you know what? I'm gonna let you live. You're the first mystic I've had in like forever, and somewhere along those lines. And I'm not gonna kill you. Plain and simple, I'm not gonna kill you. And just when he's about to, leave, because he basically says, this is what Wham says, yeah, there's no one left with, ripple energy, it was just you, Zeppeli, I'm just going to leave you. You can stay alive. Hopefully we get to fight again. And just when he's ready to leave, JoJo's like, cough, cough, like, in our heads we know, it's like, wait a minute, you just thought Zeppeli was the only one with ripple energy? This is why JoJo was doing cough cough. And I thought it was hilarious. So then we're taking to a different scene with JoJo, and he now has a new weapon. I guess it's what you would consider the alternative to what Zeppeli had with his bubble launcher. So now JoJo has his own weapon. It's called the Ripple Balls. I'm like, what the heck? These little balls, they're on a string or rope, and they have his initials JJ on them. And I thought it was kind of hilarious. And they're steel balls, and he's just playing around with them. And he hits himself on the head. I thought maybe that was for dramatic effect, to throw off, to actually throw Wham off guard. I don't know. He made it kind of look very convincing that he was a moron, and this was a new toy he didn't know how to use yet. Now, obviously, he throws them at Wham. It looks like he only had one set of these weapons. He throws it at Wham, and it misses. And I thought it was kind of funny. And then JoJo actually has another one that appears. So now he's got 2 of them, then 3 of them. Like, where's he hiding all these weapons? I was like, it was hilarious. But he gets very serious, and his balls disappear. I know it's funny how I said that, but his steel balls, his new weapon, they disappear, and he gets all serious, gets quiet, and he starts singing, "I've been working on the railroad." Holy shit, that is just so creepy. He just starts singing it. I'm like, okay, where's he going with this? I mean, seriously, dude, where are you going with this, JoJo? I'm like, just it freaks me out. And then these balls are tied on his back. Like, they didn't just disappear. These metal balls, he's got 2 sets of them now. They're behind him, plus the one that's stuck on the structure right behind Wham. So I thought, okay, where's he going with this? Now we know what he has, but technically Wham doesn't know he has them. So then we see a direct hit on Wham by JoJo. He pulls them back and throws them, and it looks like Wham's about to be defeated or is just contorted, like his insides are pushed together, and he looks like he's partially deadish or been defeated, but he's not. Apparently Wham isn't even defeated. He wasn't even phased by this, just looked like he was. So we are taken to a different scene apparently with Wham, and he gives JoJo 1 minute to duel him. So he's taking him seriously. So you know what? I'll give you 1 minute to duel me. And his wrist was cut right off the bat. His right hand, like his wrist, was cut. You see blood coming out, and you think this might be the end for him. How is this an equal playing field if Wham's going to do that to him? But then again, there were no rules to begin with, so anything goes. So we are taken to a different scene with Cars and AC/DC. They basically said to Wham, we're going to leave you to do your own thing, and we'll be upstairs waiting for you. I'm like, so you're doing a Dr. Evil thing from, Austin Powers. You're just going to turn your back and presume Wham's going to finish them off, or finish JoJo off in this case. Like, that was kind of stupid, and yet again arrogant, because I wouldn't have done that. So again, we do see JoJo retrieve his balls. I know it's kind of funny how I said that. He's just retrieving them. So he has his steel balls, and I guess JoJo has a really great comeback. I like his comeback. So now he calls his new technique his balls boomerang, because they come back. So if you remember correctly, his first attack, those steel balls were right behind Wham. They just stuck in that metal object, or that post behind him. Yeah, they weren't there. In fact, they were still alive. Apparently the ripple energy was still through them, and I thought it was kind of interesting. And JoJo hits Wham a lot. They come back, they hit Wham, and then you see JoJo just jumping on Wham in general, beating the crap out of him. But it doesn't seem to really phase Wham too much. In fact, Wham seems to be either enjoying it or getting even stronger, which I was kind of like a WTF. Like, how could you be getting stronger off of someone hitting you? Are you absorbing, JoJo's ripple energy? We don't really know. Just it's kind of curious. So we are taken to a different scene with Wham, and he's using his sacred sandstorm technique. You want to say sandstorm, something else, I'll put it that way. But again, it's called the sacred sandstorm technique he's using. And apparently both his fists are turning counterclockwise, and he's got this, it's like making a wave in the middle of it. And all I can say is, well, JoJo's kind of screwed right now, because I wanted to see where this was going to go. So we are taking to a different scene with JoJo, and he's been hit directly with this technique. And I'm like, JoJo, he's not defeated, but he's on the floor, and he's just playing dead. I'm like, this is not the time to be joking around. Yet, Wham thinks he's dead, and every so often he's turns around, and he's looking, is JoJo really dead? Because JoJo keeps getting up, moving away, playing dead, getting up, moving away, turning dead. You see a pattern, right? And I thought this was kind of funny. And eventually JoJo does end up, I guess, he goes into a mine trolley, a little cart they use in the mines that miners used, and he actually gets into them. And I'm like, well, where's he going? Is he running away? Supposedly, it looks like he's running away from Speedwagon and Zeppeli, but he is partially kind of defeated. Now, eventually, Wham, he falls for this. He actually jumps into this little mini cart or mini trolley, and he's in front of JoJo. He's like, "Yeah, I knew you weren't dead." Now we see apparently JoJo has lit in TNT behind his back, so he's got TNT like a bomb behind his back, and he lit it on fire. And Wham knows it. He actually says, "I know you've got that behind your back." He knows you have a candle behind your back. He didn't say TNT. It's been 2,000 years. Technically, he doesn't know what TNT is, but he's smart enough probably to figure it out eventually. And so we do see Wham. He goes, I don't know how to say this, like the mining trolley keeps going with JoJo and, well, Wham inside of it, and eventually, well, Wham tosses the trolley overboard and takes JoJo down, like down the little mountainside with him, or down the cliff. So they're just free falling, and eventually they hit the ground. And all I can say is, JoJo, nice. JoJo does something amazing. He's about to die, and he tells Wham, in 1 month, I could probably get stronger and defeat you, because right now, this is kind of like not an endless defeat, but a very weak defeat for you, because it'll always be in the back of your mind that you defeated someone that really wasn't even worth it, when if you would have waited a month, he probably could have been stronger. And then AC/DC appears, and he finds out that, well, JoJo has a candle behind his back, but not that he was stalling for time. So he eats the candle, so there goes, JoJo's ace in his hole for stalling for time to take out Wham. So AC/DC eats the TNT and explodes in his stomach. No harm, no foul. Now he thinks at this point JoJo's probably going to be screwed, but he's not. In fact, Wham accepts JoJo's offer. I'm going to give you 33 days, 1 month from now, to get stronger and to fight me. And instead of Wham walking away, he actually puts a wedding band of Wham on his heart, on JoJo's heart, and it's filled with poison. And basically, he has until 33 days at the end, on the 33rd night, to fight Wham. Or else, after like the 34th day, poison's going to fill your heart and you're going to die. And the only way to defeat Wham after you defeat him is the antidote's in his little ring on his lip, a ring that's on him. Thought that was kind of interesting. And it gets even weirder. We have AC/DC do the exact same thing. He uses his own engagement ring of AC/DC, except on his trachea, or his trachea. And I'm like, holy shit. He's like, I got nothing with you, man, but I'm going to put one on you as well. And so there we go. We have 33 days for apparently JoJo to get stronger. And Zeppeli, oh, he's going to help him. That's all I'm going to say. He's going to help him. And that's where the episode ends. As for final thoughts, well, first of all, is JoJo going to get stronger in 33 days? I have no idea. And what is with these engagement rings putting it on JoJo? He's got 2 guys he's now engaged to. Awkward. Just putting that out there. And one more final thought. Is JoJo going to master his new technique with the metal steel balls? I hope so. Maybe something better. Yeah, we'll find out. And that ends it for my final thoughts. As per my rating, 4 out of 5. The fights were definitely there, kind of. I liked them. The humor was most definitely there. Was there any romance and whatnot? No, and then yes, because with the engagement rings kind of threw you off there, but I liked the episode. So final rating, 4 out of 5. And that ends it for my walkthrough and review of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure episode 15. But definitely comment down below, let me know, thumbs up, thumbs down, definitely subscribe, and check me out on Twitter and follow me if you like. But again, guys, that ends it for now. Let me know what you thought of this episode, and let me know what you think's going to happen in the next episode that's coming out. Guys, I gotta hit the bricks, I gotta go. I've got 2 more walkthroughs and reviews to do tonight, so definitely stay tuned. And before I go, I have to say it, and I always say it, you can't stop the access, but you can watch the feed. I'll see you later, guys.